last book describes the mechanical age, which tells a story about a group of survivors of a city who had been attacked by a black ship. These people destroyed the entire city and left them nothing but a watch post to survive on. And when Atreus, Sirius, and Achenar went there, they rebuilt them an entire fortress because they were worried that 10 years after the original attack, the ship would be back to finish the job. Sure enough, after building this giant fortress that rotates, the black ship returned to finish the job. However, they were ready with their fortress and fended off the attackers. This is a very important piece as well. This is part of the map, but if you notice this right here, keep that in mind when we go to the mechanical age. And that's a little diagram that shows the rotation and the insignia of the ships that attack. The last book right here isn't really useful at the moment. It describes the Rime Age, which is exclusive to Real Myst, and it will only become available after we've beaten the game. So we will go back to that book after we've beaten the game. Since we rotated the tower towards the gear, we're going to have to figure out how to use that. And by clicking on this, we open a passageway. An interesting bit of tidbit trivia too, because Cyan only had 4 workers during the production of Myst, Sirius and Achenar were actually made by the creators, or actually played by the creators of the game, Rand and Robin Miller. Robin plays Sirius, and Rand plays Achenar. So, the tower rotation basically gives us a clue. 240, 221. Now, since we pointed it towards the gear, deducing what facts we already know about the game, that there's 4 ages: the Stoneship, the Channelwood, the Solantic, and the Mechanical. You can already deduce where this clue has come from since we rotated it to the gear. If you can't, however, I'll tell you, it relates to the mechanical age. Now, normally, we'd be able to go and use this information. However, I personally like to get all the tower rotations out of the way so I can figure out all the clues. That way, when I want to go back, I won't have to keep fiddling with this tower rotation and can simply go to the next area. If you haven't already figured out, a book of notes really helps with this game. Myself, I have an entire 15 pages of notes, not just from Myst, but from Riven, Uru, Myst 3, Myst 4. It's really good to keep notes, and unlike the other future games such as Myst 4 and Uru and Myst 5, where you can actually keep notes in the game, this one does not allow you that. So, back on topic, we've rotated the tower towards where we started. Do you remember what was next to it? A big mast of a ship, right? So these 3 dates, which age do you think they relate to? We already figured out the gears are related to the mechanical age. So there's the Stoneship, the Channelwood, and the Solantic. And you'd be right if you said that it relates to the Stoneship age. So that leaves us with 2 more tower rotations. We'll use those dates in a minute because the Stoneship is the easiest age in this game. So we rotated the tower again. This time, you may not remember, but there was a giant tree outside of the area we flicked the switch on. So, knowing what I've already told you about trees, and deducing that there are only 2 ages left, the Channelwood and the Salantic, can you deduce which age this relates to? And you'd be right to say it's the Channelwood. So let's go see what our Channelwood clue is, and then we'll do one last tower rotation for the Salantic age. 724. So go ahead and write that down if you hadn't already. Myself, I already have all the notes from the previous playthroughs I have done over the years. It's pretty crazy to think that this game came out 1993 during the Windows 3.11 era. Not this game in particular, but the original Myst. So we've got it pointed at the ship now. And since we've already eliminated the other 3, I can safely say this is a Salantic age. This clue but you could have guessed that earlier from all the ship drawings on the Salantic Age book as well. So we'll take the final trip out of the elevator just to see what that says. I'm not going up the other ladder simply because it just shows you a view of what you rotated to. 59 volts should be the answer that you have written down. But yes, if we were to go out there right now, you'll be able to see a picture view of the ship that we mentioned earlier. Had we rotated to the Stoneship clue, you would have seen the mast of the Stoneship sticking out of the water, or the gear for the Mechanical Age, or the tree for the Channelwood Age. And I'm not sure how they got the elevator to twist and turn in the middle of lifting. That's a little trick that's nifty. But since we're trapped in here, we might as well just click this right here, which opens the door again. Now, the suggested order of ages is Stoneship, Channelwood, Mechanical, Salantic, progressing in difficulty. However, myself, I prefer to do it Stoneship, Mechanical, Salantic, Channelwood, simply because there's a note in the Channelwood Age that would otherwise give away in-game details. So, now if you think back to the Stoneship Age, which will be the first age we're going to, think back to the clue. We got 3 dates, correct? Now, most people will be wondering where to use those. But if you are actually watching this after playing through the game once, like I mentioned, you should know exactly where. And this would be where. So let's start with the first date. October 11th, 1984. Not sure what happened that year. Perhaps it was the date of one of their kids' birthdays at 10:04 a.m. Maybe it was the founding of Scion Worlds. I'm not particularly sure. But it will give us a star pattern after a while. It's taking unusually long, I'm not sure why. It helps if you try and draw this shape. Myself, I drew a dot drawing of them. You can also take a screenshot with print screen, or if you're using the Steam version, F11. Myself, I already know what it looks like. So we'll go to the next date, January 17th, 12:07. At 5:46 a.m. Not sure what was going on at that point in the way back then. Oops. My apologies. I didn't realize it was 5:46 a.m. Okay, then we'll go to November 23rd, 9791. And none of us will be alive to see that day. So I'm not really sure if they're predicting the end of the world, or if they're just like, let's get a random date in the future. And the first time I ever saw this, I actually thought it was a time machine. I'm sure many other people did as well. I used to sit there and enter important dates in my life, as well as my fiance's life, just to see what effect it would have. But we are done here now that we have all three of our symbols. And if you're paying attention, you know where to go to find those symbols. Of course, you should already know from playing through once yourself. Now, so that one kind of looks like the last one, correct? Or the middle one. And this one, I kind of think it looks like a spider. My fiance seems to think it's a beetle. A lot of other people think it's a beetle as well. Call it what you will. It is representative of the last date. And the first one is right here, leaf. So we have leaf, snake, and beetle. So if you look outside, you'll find little symbols. Let's go ahead and click those on of the three that we found. Lo and behold, a giant ship has risen out of the water. Maybe the real one has as well. And you can see quite clearly that it has. In the original pre-rendered version, you wouldn't have been able to until you actually went down these steps. So let's go ahead and walk down. And we find none other than another linking book. So let's go ahead and go to the Stoneship Age. And welcome to the Stoneship Age. This is actually one of my favorite ages, just due to the feel of it.